You have to want to be directed. If you're asking him for direction and he's just going to pick you up, you think he's going to pick you up and just, carry you like you carry your kid around the house? It doesn't happen that way.
Just something simple, like, let's say you're hungry, right? And you're walking around the house, I'm hungry. You're walking around the house, I'm hungry.
Sounds like Ozzy.
He don't cook, I do.
If you don't, like, go to the fridge and open it up or the pantry
Yeah.
and put things together, you're going to be hungry all day.
Right, you have to feed yourself. Yeah. Good analogy. Good analogy. Right? We know that all things work together for the good, right? We know. This phrase emphasizes that certainty and assurance. That's certainty and assurance. We know. God, we know. That's the trust. Right? That all things work together for good. This is the core message of the verse, stating that even difficult or seemingly negative circumstances can be used by God for the ultimate good of those who love Him. Amazing grace, unendless love. It's unendless. That means like you're never gonna run out of God's love. So I'm sorry, everybody has to raise their hand if I ask who's ever backslid. Who's ever backslid in your walk? You know what I mean? Like everybody. I can say I've thought of so many times where I'm like, yeah, God, I think I ruined. Your plans for me are ruined. He's like, you know what? You're right. Crumbles the paper of the plans He had for you. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm a prime example of that, because at one point I wanted nothing to do with Him, and I told Him that, God, it's so much easier that I don't have You in my life. You're such a burden you're such a burden, God. It's too much to worship You. It's too much to work for You. You're asking for too much. It's just easier if I do it myself. And I found out the hard way, it's not. I was killing myself spiritually because I had worldly grief. When I felt sorry for myself, when I fight with my wife, or when I get into it with a family member, and I go home and shoulda, coulda, woulda, I wasn't giving it to God. I was trying to handle it myself, and I was killing myself every day. And here I am, but at one point, I didn't ever think I would be here. I didn't ever think that I needed God in my life. That was my plan, right? I'm going to do it without You. And I wonder if He's looking at me, like laughing at me, like, okay, you don't need me, I do that to my kids sometimes when they think they know better than me. I'm like, okay, man, when I move out there, I'm gonna get a job and I'm gonna be, have a lot of money. I'm like, okay, I think it's that easy. And I feel like that's how He looked at me, right? Like, God, that's my plans, and I'm sorry, that's the way I'm gonna handle it. He didn't have to show me grace and mercy like she talked about, but He did, because He loved me. Even when I turned my back and I backslid, He's like, you don't even know. You know what I mean? You don't even know. And I went through that for 10 years, because in those 10 years I never gave anything to Him. I handled it myself, and I truly found out that, it doesn't work without God. I wish I had a testimony where I suffered some of the things I hear in other testimonies, where people went through something like, I don't have that kind of testimony. I don't have the testimony where I had nothing. I don't have the testimony where I got cancer. I don't have the testimony where one of my daughters was sick, or my marriage ended and I got divorced. I don't have that kind of testimony. I have the testimony where I had nothing. I had everything but God, and something was missing in my life. But how can something be missing if I have everything? How can something be missing if my rent's paid for, and I have a job that pays well, and my kids are healthy, and my family's healthy? How can I not be happy? What am I missing? And it's the joy from the Lord. Your song again, it's the joy that He brings you, the peace that He brings you. And that's His plan, is to give you the peace. None of that is His plan. The car that I have, the apartment I live in, none of that is His plan. The job that I have, that's not His plan. His plan is for you to grow with Him and be holier and holier every day, and that plan is never going to change. till you die. So you can backslide all you want, but you can't look back. You have to look forward and be like, God, I messed up today. Please. I know tomorrow's not promised, but if it is, help me be holier. Help me be more like Jesus. And I'll leave you guys with that today. You cannot ruin God's plan for you. It's been written. It's been predestined. And